October of 2020. People are like, you guys got to believe this, or you can believe it or you don't have to believe it. There are still people out there that think this is the same program that it was in 2020. And there are still people hawking that last year was a fluky year for Michigan. I feel like now at this point, especially after the Penn State blowout, we've seen that corner turn far more than ever before this season and really over the last year. And now, granted, Michigan beat Ohio State last year, won the Big Ten championship. But after that Penn State game last 2 weeks ago, you're talking about, let's see here, 19. So Michigan's won 17 of 19 now, dating back to last year. So 17-2 in their last 19 games. They haven't lost at home since the war. I mean, they've been winning inside the big house since like the beginning of time, it seems like, under Harbaugh. Yeah. They don't often lose there. Outside of 2020, I'd love to get the home record compiled. But again, I mean, they're undefeated this year, undefeated at home. So how do I see this game shaking out? Well, Michigan's at home, and Michigan is literally like, they're impossible at home. No, if you can go beat Michigan at home with this team, and I'm talking post 2020, guys, like I'm talking to this program in 2021 and 2022 is night and day to what it was before. That is a credit to the new coaching staff. That's a credit for Harbaugh doing some of his own self-exploration and you know, this, that, and the JJ McCarthy, this, that, and the other thing, right? But this, and I get it, Michigan State is weird, and this game is weird, and there's things in the air, and anything can happen. But Michigan at home against an inferior opponent under Jim Harbaugh is an automatic cover. I think Michigan rolls. I don't want to sit here and act like it's not. The popular thing is going to be, well, I think it's going to be a close game. Well, I think Michigan State's going to play them tough because they do every year. Mel Tucker is 2-0 and this, that, and the other thing. And while all of those things are true, Michigan is like just so much better than them this year. Like it is just, it is. I don't think it's been like this yet. I understand Michigan was way better than Mark D'Antonio's 3-9 team in 2016. And you can make the argument that this team is more talented than that team. And in 2019, Michigan was a lot better than Michigan State too. But I think this is your biggest difference. I think this is your biggest contrast yet between the two teams under Harbaugh. Michigan is playing man ball. They're playing disciplined. They're out scheming the crap out of teams every week like they have since last year. And they're just better. When they're playing teams that they're better than, they're running through them. It might take some time, right? Like it did against Indiana, like it did against Iowa, or like against Iowa, it might start hot and then kind of settle in, right? But either way, Michigan executes their game plan really well. Their scripted drives have gone really well. And Michigan State's just the opposite, man. They're just like spinning around and hoping for the best. Like the Wisconsin game was won and lost by both teams 10 times before the game finally ended. Those were just two bad teams playing hokey pokey until there was a winner. So I think Michigan rolls personally, and I think they score a lot of points. I think they're pissed off. I think it's revenge. I think it's all the edges in the world. It just feels like one of those things where it's like the jack in the box is slowly turning, and I don't know who's going to come out. JJ, Blake, defense, whatever it might be. But Michigan is a jack in the box ready to scare the shit out of Michigan State on Saturday, in my opinion, and win by like 30.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I just don't see it this year. I mean, Michigan is, like you said, Michigan is so much better than Michigan State from up and down. I mean, you can make an argument that Michigan State has a better punter. And I'd probably agree with you. No offense to Brad Robbins. He's fantastic, but Michigan State's punter is probably better. But that's it. Like maybe we rely too much on paper and not enough on just, you know, the magic juju that Michigan State seems to bring every year to this Michigan game. But, you know, the facts are this. Michigan is the better team. And if they end up losing this game on Saturday, it's an abject failure. And, you know, that falls directly on Jim Harbaugh. But I just don't see a situation where Michigan loses this game from, as you said, from everything that you mentioned, from last year to a game that Michigan thoroughly outplayed Michigan State, aside the fact that, you know, Kenneth Walker exists. Take him away, and that game is completely different. but a loss is a loss. And I just think that this team is going to come in far more prepared than ever before, and they're ready. Like as you said, they're ready to take this to a new level and finally, not necessarily slay the dragon, but get over this mental hump of losing to an inferior Michigan State team. And they were inferior last year and they were inferior in 2020, but somehow they still managed to win. I just don't see this happening. And I do think Michigan rolls. And I've got them winning around 31-17 ish. That's kind of my prediction. I think Michigan State will score late, but I don't think the score is going to reflect of what we will see on the field on Saturday. I just think Michigan up and down the roster is just so much better. They'd have to play their worst football of the year, to make this interesting. And I just don't see that happening when they've got so many goals in front of them that they want to achieve. And this one is number one on their list right now. Michigan State, beat them. Next one, beat Ohio State, win the Big Ten, go to the playoff, win a championship. And this is number one on their list. And in order to get to the last three, they got to do the first one. And I think they've really grasped that idea. And I just think, I just don't see a situation where Michigan loses on Saturday. And, maybe this will come back to bite me in the end, but it'll be an abject failure if Michigan doesn't walk away with a win on Saturday. I mean, that's not a hot take, and that's not, that's me pointing out the obvious. I think Michigan is better equipped. I said that last game against Penn State. I think Michigan is better equipped, and their weapons are far better. And that Michigan is just going to have to play the complete opposite of what it's done all year in order to lose this game. I mean, that's it. That's it.